What's up, YouTubers? Time for the 410 live stream. I was bored and I was just sitting here and I was looking at, like I'll go around looking at videos, live streams and stuff that have been on and throughout the night and, see if there's anything interesting on them to talk about. But I didn't really find much. I think the most interesting one that I came across was I mean I'm not talking about like earlier. I mean like, within the last couple of minutes thinking, what could I talk about if I went live? And then uh he never ever seems to disappoint. Tom Reed. God, you're an idiot. You are an idiot. You say you don't lie, and yet you do. You lie. You lie. I mean, I could prove lies that you've told, at least 3 lies that you've told. I could prove rock solid and more if I, if I, you know, wanted to. Ever the, if ever it came down to it. I mean, that night when he said that I had only, you know, that the GoFundMe had only collected $1,000. What does that tell you? Well, there's a lie right there. I didn't only collect $1,000, but it's just hearing you lie to that entire room with such cockiness, like you think that nobody would ever prove you wrong. You think you're like indestructible or something. You really do. You really do. I mean, you lie and you lie and you lie. And when you sit there and you act like you're so concerned about Maddie, and none of that, those, in other words, derogatory videos are doing her any good. That's not doing anybody any good. And yet, here I am, and you think what you did to me did me any good. And you literally think that at one of the most traumatic, I guess you could say, or uh, pivotal, most stressful. There's many ways to describe how you feel when, you find a lump and then you go through getting the biopsies and then getting the results of the biopsy, let alone how you feel during the time that you have cancer. If these people don't think for 1 minute that it never crosses my mind, the fear of death, it's disgusting. And to hear Tom Reed think he's this voice of fucking wisdom when he's saying, I'm not saying I'm, this, that I'm better than anybody else or whatever, but I don't do this and I don't do that and I don't do this and I don't, yes, you do. You're a disgusting, disgusting, disgusting person. You don't give a shit about any of those freaking women there. You do not. You do not. there's a lot of people who have their opinions on that Jamie video, and oh, she was high and this and that and this and that. Now, I feel like Tom didn't have anything to do with the fact that she was as high as she was. She did agree to doing that interview, and at one point when she had gone for a coffee or something, and she did come back with a coffee. So, but at that one point, he actually said that he really felt bad. Like he was at torn, like between a rock and a hard place himself, because he knew that she wasn't, in, the right frame of mind, but she was trying to be. And that's the most disappointing part of that whole Jamie incident, because here you've got this room full of people, probably more than you've ever had in your room, Tom. You were like up to 800 people in there. And you've got a girl that, much like the show Intervention, where they get them, and and it's like it's either yes or no. Are you going to go right now to, rehab right now, right? You had enough money built up there that even if you had footed the bill immediately, I don't even know how Cash App and all that shit works, but you had so much money coming in. I know at least one person who donated $60 right then and there. And I remember, I believe it was May Watkins, I think, but I could be wrong, who was saying they were going to call, and you said, oh, everybody's saying, would you go to, you know, rehab right now, detox right now, if we flew you out to somewhere like Intervention, right? And everybody in the room was so, on board with this. And even she was, she said, yep, she'd go right then and there. Same with that girl that, the black girl that you were calling, or that smiling or whatever. She had a very nice smile, and she was crying, and she wanted to go to rehab. And here's the thing too. You're talking about giving some of that money to Gary or this or that, or you did talk about that. I believe you did an interview one time where the girl was like, all she wanted to do was take a shower. How come you didn't take some of those donations and get her a room for the night so she could take a fucking shower and sleep peacefully? Even that girl Penny, when she said she was always scared when you asked her where she sleeps, right? And she said she was always scared. What moves you to just be able to drive away? I mean, wasn't there at some point that you were interviewing these women and they were getting killed within the time that you interviewed them? And I'm not trying to imply that it was you, but was there ever a point? Because I noticed that you've never even, other than defend yourself about it and call people, you know, lunatics and loons and crazy because they said there was a coincidence. Wasn't there ever a point that you thought to yourself, yeah, that is coincidental? I mean, you could call everybody in the world lunatic for thinking that it was coincidental, but it was coincidental. So, I mean, why is it so difficult for you to admit and say that it was coincidental? It's as if you don't even think there was anything odd about, which that to me is suspicious, that you don't think it's strange that somebody could have been targeting people that you were interviewing. Stop it. That you were interviewing and you didn't stop. And you didn't stop. I mean, at what point, how many were supposed to, get murdered within a month of you interviewing them? I mean, well, I guess that definitely makes it so you wouldn't have to give them any portion of any proceeds made from their videos, right? Hey, there's $1,000 you got to save from giving. I noticed you said you had given Becky some, $1,000 for whatever. But I mean, how odd is it that you can't even acknowledge the coincidence of it? Anybody would say that was a coincidence. Anybody would. I mean, what kind of a 65-year-old, overweight, impotent, alcoholic, mentally unstable, kayak, rowing, streetwalker, interviewing, liar are you? I mean, won't it be, according to you, it won't be long before you're, wearing diapers and living in the basement of your ex-wife's house with her boyfriend. Um, those were your words. For some reason, for you want everybody in diapers. You want everyone in diapers. What kind of a weird fascination is that with you and diapers? I've never heard that in my life. You'd put somebody in diapers. Um, I heard you talking about your so-called attack in Detroit. With your car and you drove through the thing, whatever. There was no people with machetes, and you didn't run over them. You didn't do anything heroic, and you also have never ever tried to find out, like, if the police made any arrests or if there was any kind of, you know, um, any kind of progress on catching these so-called people with machetes and baseball bats. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. And yeah, that didn't happen. Not at all. Pretty cool. You got your little friends to fucking pretend for you. But what did happen is I've seen you offer money for, pictures of people. I've seen you lie about a person with, you know, cancer repeatedly. You have lied about me repeatedly, and I've been, well, had been one of your subscribers since before you had 1,000 people. In fact, when you put up your suicide letter, you remember that? Your suicide letter? I was the only person that you responded to. I was the first person to reach out to you, and I was the only person that you responded to. Remember they had to come find you? You were like talking fucked up, like you were losing your battle with depression. If I still had that on screenshot, the way you have lied about me and done the things to me and lied, I mean, for you, the likes of you, to use the word lunatic to describe anyone is amazing. For you to call anybody drama is amazing. You are delusional. You hate women, and for some reason, you want to be diapered. I mean, yeah, everybody's got a crush on you, Tom. Nobody's even seen your face. My guess is, I think I've seen a glance or two. My guess is you're balding or bald or balding. You've got pinkish like skin. You're out of shape. Your teeth are yellowing. And you're just a miserable fuck. Know it all fuck that probably sucks in bed. Probably can't even get it up. You know, that is my take on you. You are probably one of the biggest that's probably why you like working girls so much, because you can pay them to be nice to you. Because other than that, there'd be no woman that would be impressed with your outside shell or your inside ingredient. There's nothing about you impressive. You're driving around in a fucking Astro van, insulting the very people that you're sitting there talking to. The very people that if all of them at once decided, I am sick of hearing you talk about 50-year-old women, you'd be back down to under 1,000 subscribers again. Seriously. Serious. You know? There's really, I can't even, you're just one of those people that, when you say things like, these people can't even get their own content to make videos about. No, that's not it, Tom. But you to me are like Becky to you. You're the streetwalker to me. But I ain't paying you $10. I'm just gonna talk about you. I don't give a fuck about interviewing you. I know everything you'd say. The same rhetoric over and over and over and over and over. The only thoughts you have are what everybody is doing to you. I hate women. I hate women. And apparently you have no men friends. In fact, I don't even think you have any friends. You never recollect any any memories with fondness. Like there's nothing, like as if your whole life has just been fucking blah and you were a professional stalker, really. I mean, really, what is a private eye, right? You were a professional stalker. And now all you do is fucking just put people down that you think are less than you. And in reality, without them, you'd be nothing. You'd be fucking nothing. Same to you, Nitty. You sit there and you put down all these people who have supported you. You think you're like getting some fucking message across. What's your message? Really, what is your message? I mean, you talk about Tom going around and filming these, girls, the street girls, without their knowledge, and what a weirdo, what a weirdo, what a weirdo. But what about you? I mean, you're walking around behind them, filming them, calling them lot lizards. I saw a video you made where you went outside to a pregnant prostitute. I think it was like even raining. And your first thought was you were going to go down there to get your cut of what she's putting herself out there for her and her baby. That was your reason for going. I mean, who the fuck do you think you are? Why would you get a fucking cut? Why would you get a cut? Hey, I want to save on my taxes and not pay for your fucking kids that you don't pay child support for. I mean, how about that? How about you get a job, buddy? You know? I mean, you sit there and you want to bitch about Sharon driving by your house. Dude, you were giving out her fucking address. You were giving out her address. And now you're whining about her driving by your house. I mean, seriously? Seriously? And not for nothing, but where is your girlfriend? You want to talk about Angie and her husband and this and that and this and that. Tell her, oh, her husband should be talking to you, not her. Why should her husband be talking to her? You said, if it was me, I'd have my woman talking to you. Well, why wasn't your woman talking to her? What, are you afraid of Angie? That's what that sounded like. Like you thought you could bully women and get away with it for an extensive amount of time. And actually, you can't. And I really, I don't understand. Why would you put down people that were supporting you? Why do you keep going on and on? Why? I'm sorry, but I've been doing a lot of research lately, and I'm going to tell you that the injustice that is done to women across the board is pretty sick. But when, you know, there's quite a bit of police brutality that is aimed on all races and all genders. All you got to do is have a cop that's having a bad day, and basically, they could take it out on you if they want and say you did this, and that's that for the cops. They got the qualified immunity. It has nothing to do with race. It's the qualified immunity doctrine. And to repeal and fix the qualified immunity doctrine, right? To fix that doesn't mean defund the police. That's not what that means. you know? And anybody who's yelling defund the police is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But I do think that just if they're having a bad day and they see some guy that they may think is, hey, I think they might be flirting with my girlfriend last night in a bar. Today I'm going to pull him over and beat the crap out of him. And that does happen, okay? What else happens is that growing up, it seems that because of society, Black parents seem to teach their children and the music that, you gotta run because the Black man, if the cops pull you over, they're gonna get you anyway. So you better run. You better run. And then that makes it seem like there's something going on, something suspicious. They may not be doing anything wrong, but because they've been brought up to think that just if you get pulled over for a simple traffic stop, all you got to do is hand them your license. If you're legal and have a license and you're not breaking the law, except maybe you ran a red light or you're speeding, you hand them your license and they let you go. Now, yes, there is cases of racial profiling, believe it or not, even for white people in areas where it's predominantly Black. Okay? So a white person could get pulled over in a predominantly Black neighborhood. If there's, drug dealers on the corner, it may not even be a Black neighborhood. Could be just one known for, but we're talking racially profiled right now. But I'll tell you what, I can guarantee you that there's been Black people who have been pulled over by the cops for speeding, gave them their license, got written a ticket, and then went on their merry way. I can guarantee you. The ones that we hear about are the ones that go running, or they lead them on a high-speed chase because they're drunk and it's a legal car or whatever. They don't have a license. Who knows? Okay? Those are the ones we hear about. It's, I bet you any money if a white guy started running, they'd run after them too. I mean, I'd be willing to bet, money on that. There's no, there's never been any case, incident, or anything that I have ever heard that a white guy went running from the scene or tried to outrun the cops and the cops said, oh, he's white, let him go. That's never happened. Never happened. Never. Never, 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 never. Never. I can guarantee you right now that if I went out speeding on the street and was going to get pulled over and I decided to lead them on a high speed chase, they would come after me. They would not say, oh, wait a minute, she's white, let her go. I guarantee you. You know? Hi, Catherine. I'll stick around. I'll just stop and say hi. I'm just like going on and on here as I'm like, that whole thought process of that do they really actually believe that? And I get it that it's the media that actually plays the majority of um, clips that where it's a Black person and they're getting the cops are chasing them and they're pinning them down and stuff. But I guarantee, I guarantee that if I went out right now and was high, fucking driving through the city streets at a high rate of speed and the cops wanted to pull me over and I just kept going, they would not think for a second about what color I was. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. It's ridiculous for this whole bullshit of, oh, they're white, they get a break from the cops. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. That guy, we were reading about last night, that little kid that Cannon, was it Hidai or something like that? I can't remember his last name. The little 4-year-old boy that got shot by the mid-20s black guy, went right up to him and shot him. And the guy in the it was a juvenile detention officer in New York that said he should have ducked. He said he should have ducked. And that basically it was, they just wanted to make it like it was a big deal of it because it was a black guy shooting a little white kid. And they wanted to treat George Floyd like a criminal and this and that. I mean, the kid was 4. He should have ducked. Most people, they didn't even hear about that story much. It came and went. And yet, for somebody who was, almost going to make sure that some woman's baby didn't even make it to birth, let alone 4, by holding a gun to her stomach, they name the George Floyd bill after him. I mean, for real? I mean, why is it so important for, like, say their name, say their name? And if somebody shouted out Tony Timpa at the same time when they're shouting out those other names, say their name, say their name. If somebody shouted out Tony Timpa, Justine Diamond, they'd be like, who's that? And if you said, oh, they're this person, and they, they got the same thing as, hi, Heli, how are you? You're from like past PLE channel, right? That's where I know you from, right? The Paranormal channel. I haven't seen you for a while. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sending you strength as well. Yeah, you're also on that other channel. That's you that's the mod on that paranormal, or is it the haunted side or something? Is that you're the same person that's a mod over there, aren't you? Because that's a pretty big channel. Can't think of what it's called. They do like a lot of the haunted stuff, the investigations and everything. They have like real, like marathons of it. If haunted side, that's a pretty big chat room you got mod there, huh? I mean, there's a lot of people in that room. It moves fast too, and they're always you know, uh, where are they out of? Interesting. I mean, Yeah, there's. I mean, I haven't seen any. Have they been on lately? Because usually they do those marathons, those all nighters, and aren't they like, yeah? Oh, Nevada. Oh, that's creepy. Hmm. Nevada's creepy to me. There's so many. Do you have a channel, Huey? Let me. Do you have a channel? I know you probably do. I'm probably subscribed to you. Is it? It's the same name? Yeah. Okay. No, I don't know if I've ever seen them really like find anything ghostly except like a bat and stuff. They're pretty funny. Like a bat will come out after them. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna share it right now. Yeah, I'm gonna share it. Now, how did you get to know them? Were you like on their channel since like day one, or do you know them personally? Yeah, that's all I've ever seen is like, and then one time they were going through somewhere, I think he had flip flops on and there was all this broken glass. He's got flip flops on. But there's so many of the abandoned total like villages, not villages. I don't mean villages. Ghost towns. Oh my God, I'm wicked scared of that. Oh my God, there was one in my house. In our house. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, there was one that came down the chimney when I was little. A bat started flying around. Me and my mother were watching TV. All of a sudden, this thing just starts flying around the house. And my mother's going, "Get in your room, get in your room." Because you know how, like, they say they can get stuck in your hair. And then my mother was chasing it around with a tennis racket. And then it got, it like tried to get out. So it tried to go through the window, but the screen was down. And it was my mother slammed the window shut, so it was in between the window and the screen, and she sprayed stuff inside, which was kind of sad because then when you're looking at the bat, it kind of looks like a mouse, but you they're scary, yeah, like they seems like they have I mean, I can't even imagine. DJ Fasan. He sounds familiar. Is he a ghost hunter too? That sounds familiar. DJ Fasan. I'm gonna look it up. Hold on. That sounds familiar. Let's see. Oh yeah. I like that guy. He's cute, first of all. First of all, he's cute. And he I watched him go to a haunted wood one time. Yeah, he does haunted stuff, right? And he was in these woods and the tree fell right while he was there. Oh my God, it was scary. He is cute, isn't he? He is cute. And the tree fell, and then he brought with him um one I think was that blonde haired girl. You know what I'm talking about with the nails. I don't know. Like I was, yeah. And then also the bigger guy. Can't think of his name. And then there's that one. Oh my God, what is his name? Omar? Is he friends with Omar? because it was scary and he was by himself the first time that he went. Have you ever seen any of these people, Catherine? DJ Fasan? Yeah, and I think he was with Omar and this bigger guy. No, it was a bigger guy and his girlfriend, and then that blonde girl with the fingernails, long blonde hair, and she does a haunted channel too. And they went back to the haunted woods that he had been in by himself one night. And then the tree, maybe, let me see oh, the girl, is that the girl that you're talking about? Can't think. I think the bigger guy was Omar, right? Or maybe the one that he used to do. Not Omar. Yes, Chris Star. Exactly. That's her. Her. Yep, her. That's who they were with. And she's like real dramatic, you know. You have watched Omar, Catherine? I like Omar. He's all right. He's pretty good. But I did like that guy CJ Hassan. And it was scary in the woods. They found this, like, I don't know, but the way that this tree fell, this humongous tree just fell. And I mean, it was in the middle of the night, and I don't know. I certainly wouldn't be out there. I mean, I would try to be, but then I wouldn't want to be in the car either by myself. But I still feel like if there was a killer with like a machete or an axe or something that comes out, or even a bunch of Satan worshippers, like having some kind of a ritual out there, that people would get to, um, in shock. I think you'd go into shock if you saw something like that in real life and you were like, oh my God, I got to get out of here, but I don't want to breathe. Oh, Finland. Oh, that's interesting. Finland? Is that nice? Must be. I can't even watch. Don't they have like the least amount of crime there? What's Mind See TV, Captain? I'll drop the link in case you guys want to come up or anybody wants to come up. I think I watched, it was actually a crime show where I believe it was Finland. And no, oh no, maybe it was Iceland where it was. Iceland or Greenland. And it was about this, I mean, I get it that people shouldn't say, oh, well, you know, women shouldn't walk, alone at night. But like 4 or 3, you're going to go back to sleep, Catherine? I'm staying up. Well, I'm staying up. I'm staying up. Ghost hunters. Doesn't that sound like so mean, though? Ghost hunters. Like they're not already dead. We get them and we take their sheet and make a coat out of it. Their sheet and make a coat out of it. Yeah, I need new sheets. I'm going ghost hunting. I wonder what made people like first start putting, like ghosts in sheets, like thinking of them like that. Paranormal. I like that stuff. I do. Isn't that crazy? I like it, but I know that I wouldn't. I would be in shock if it happened to me. I would freeze because I'd want to, well, you'd have to stay quiet, right? If there was like a killer and you're hiding somewhere. And with me, I probably, my stomach would growl or something. That'd be how they'd find me. But hopefully it would be such a bad growl, like that it kind of would scare them. Maybe. Maybe that's what people should do is if you're hiding from a killer, growl like the devil. Make devil sounds when you're hiding. That is what you should do. Even if they find you, act like you're possessed and start talking like the devil. You'll never kill me. Right? Go ahead, cut my head off. If you can roll your eyes back in your head, just do that too. Probably can't twist your head all around, but maybe act like you're gonna. Right? Yeah, that might work. Hmm. Go ahead. Won't be the first time someone's cut my head off. My name is Lucifer. Just like hide behind the thing going, that would scare me. I wouldn't go looking for it, even if I was a serial killer. Now everybody knows what to do. If you're ever hiding from a serial killer, or like the garage got, no, I don't think that's as scary as it was when it was in the movie. I can't do it right. I think I would just be like, your mother stuck stocks in hell. Then they'd just kill me for talking about their mother. Don't talk about their mother. I watched a comedian one time and he was saying about good night, Catherine. He was saying that there was a like if somebody had a gun to your mother's head and you had to spell like certain words and they're like I don't know, let's just say uh spell conundrum or I'm gonna shoot up. I'm sorry, mom. Like I always try, you never know when you're gonna need your spelling. Oh my god, Tucker, every time you see me online, you kill me. Do you do any ghost hunting? Is it how do I pronounce it? Is it Heli or Heli or how do I pronounce it? Heli? Like is it like a long E or a short E? Is it short for Helena? Very pretty. Very pretty girl. Heli? Oh, like helicopter. Oh, Heli. Okay, okay. Is it short for helicopter? Is that your real name? Can I call you Whirlybird? I'm only kidding. Helicopter. Can you imagine? That is my name. I'd be like, my brother's name is Jet. Actually, I did know somebody named Jet. It's not a bad name, Jet. So, what is it short for Helena or Helene or Helena? No, just rambling away. Do you do ghost hunting? Not hunting. That's a shame, isn't it? We have to think of it as something else, like paranormal investigation instead of ghost hunting. This sounds so vicious. Oh, I love that name, Helena. Helena. I'll get it right. Okay. You do? Have you ever seen anything? Do you want to come up on the panel? I dropped the link. Have you been up on panels before? Probably, right? How is PLE? I don't even see them guys anymore. Or Grinch. Uh, you know? You know who does some interesting investigations is Fluffy. Oh, you're at work at the moment? Oh, okay. Fluffy does, he does some pretty good investigation. In fact, he was at the bridge that I had gone to, um, like last week. I had gone to this bridge where there was like this Indian massacre thing, and he had been there. It looks like he really travels all over the place. I like that group, that community. They're nice people. They really are. I was watching on that, that forest, the suicide forest um, in Japan. I was watching one of those. Look at that. He's already got that's inside Fairfield County. I was just looking at that CJ Hassan to see like what his last video was. Oh, Jesus Christ, these animals are killing me. My dog is under the blanket, and I don't know if he's like having a dream, barking like that. Like nobody's bothering him. He's just barking. He's not even coming out from under his blanket. He's just barking. Like there's an intruder under the blanket. Come on, Roscoe, shut up. No. He says, stop it. I don't want to wake him because I don't want him to like still be in his dream and think I'm whatever he's dreaming about and attack me. You know? But I was watching one of those in Japan, the suicide forest, with this group of, younger kids, whatever, doing their stuff. And first of all, that is a pretty weird place. I mean, would you go there? I don't know if I would go there. I really don't think I would. I don't even think I would go to Japan at all. No offense against Japanese, but I'm pretty scared to go places. Especially anything named Suicide Forest. Like, I'm not driving down Slaughter Street. I'm not going to the murder house. Fuck that. I mean, I would say I would. And then I'd be afraid. I mean, that place looks like you could really get lost. And second of all, I don't want to be looking up in the trees and having someone like hanging in the tree over me. I don't even know if I could ever even imagine finding somebody. I know they do. Like that movie, The Grudge, was so scary too. I mean, it's just like I feel like I would be totally lost there, not knowing the language, even on vacation. I really just feel like it wouldn't be a relaxed vacation for me because I wouldn't know what they were saying. Now, in Finland, what do they like? Do you speak a different language than like? I don't know much about Finland, so don't think I'm odd if I'm asking you like questions about Finland. But what is their main language? Is it? I mean, I know you might say Finnish or whatever, right? Finnish, Finnish, but I still wouldn't know what kind of language that is. I don't even know if I've ever heard anybody speaking Finnish. Finnish, Finn. Is it Dutch? Would it be Swedish? Swedish. Okay. Okay. I got you. Do you speak Swedish? Well, you know what? You don't really hear too much or like about Sweden having any kind of um strife. I mean, does it have much strife, or is it basically uh, laid back there? That's one of the things. There's a couple of things about YouTube that I like, and this is one of them. Like being able to talk to somebody, in Finland that and know somebody in Finland that normally you know, we wouldn't even be able to, talk to each other. I can't remember if it was in Sweden around, like when they had that, there was like a summer camp or a camp or something like that. Yeah, across the world. What time is it there? But there was some, camp and there was a shooter there. Was that in Sweden? Was that what that was? I feel like it was, somewhere in that area of the world. And it was, I mean, the guy shot like a lot of these teenagers that were at this camp. Oh, Norway. Norway, yeah. And those Norway, Switzerland, Sweden, they all seem like they would be so laid back. Are they? Are they laid back? I mean, that's just the feeling like I get, like as if they're, nice and clean and, is it like that? I should look it up. I should look it up. What's your favorite food, like in Finland? Like, what is there, it is nice there. What do they eat there in Finland? Isn't there something like Finnish pancakes or something? That's all I've heard. That's all I've ever heard of. Or is it like mostly fish too? And is it warm there or cold? I'm sorry if I'm asking too many questions. I'm just I never talk to you like that because you're usually modding in these big channels. So it's border Sweden and just looking at some pictures of it. Uh, images. Oh wow, it looks beautiful. I think I did a puzzle of that before. So you're like around a lot of water and you get those lights. Is that the aurora borealis or something? Meat, mashed potatoes. But is that the because the pictures I'm looking up like images? showing these lights in the sky. Like, is that the aurora borealis? Is that what that is? The northern lights? Is that what that would be called? I don't know why my cat has to do this every time I'm on a live stream. Has to sit on my phone. Those are in the sky there? A lot? Like regularly? Is that like a common occurrence there? That's like crazy. Do you live near Helsinki? And there's a lot of I mean, that looks like I, I mean, like the architecture and it just looks beautiful. A lot of water and like waterways and everything. I swear to you, I think I did a puzzle of like some buildings that were on this waterway and they were brightly colored buildings and all attached to each other, like little eateries and sidewalk cafes and stuff. Have you ever been to America? This is like 100 questions, huh? 100 questions for Heli. That's that's our show. 100 questions for Heli. Where would you go? Like ghost investigating in Finland, like in the middle of town. So no, not near the ocean then. Is it snowing there or no? Not yet. I think I still have like 58 questions to go. There'll be a quiz. There'll be a quiz, everybody. Never been to America? No, not yet. I don't even know if you'd want to come. What's going on there with, the whole, um, pandemic thing there? Do they have a lot of numbers suffering from it there or no? I would like to go to Finland. Where have you ever seen a ghost? Well, not seen it. Although you could see a ghost. Some of them, like, can. Oh, that's good. That's, what kind of animals are in Finland? Is there bears? Is there raccoons? Is there squirrels? Do you know that there's no dogs or cats in North Korea? They ate them all. That's a true story. But never heard any so basically like the hot spots, you mean? On like those ghost detectors? Wolves. Ooh. I'd be scared to death if I saw a wolf. But knowing me, like I'd be the type if there was ever I came across like a small baby wolf, I'd probably be like, oh, it's an abandoned puppy and bring it home and then love it and then I want to keep it. Unless it was, vicious. Then even then, how would I get rid of it? Put it in the car, bring it out to its freaking natural habitat? Doubtful. Get out! I'm screaming at a wolf, trying to hit it with a broom. Did you get any EVPs? Those are creepy. I really saw like a ghost move an object before. Like I didn't see the ghost, but the object moved in a deliberate motion. It was, I was speechless. It made me cry. because I wasn't like on a ghost hunt, so I wasn't, like looking for that kind of activity. And I was just sitting at my friend's house on their couch, and they couldn't see in their kitchen, but I could. They were sitting across the room, and so they had this dish towel hanging out over the back of the chair, and like a dish towel, like a hand towel that if somebody washed their hands, they would turn around and dry their hands on that towel just hanging over the back of the chair. And I'm sitting there, and I look in the kitchen, and this towel is lifting up. God's honest truth. God's honest truth. The towel was lifting up and scrunched together. It scrunched together like one side stayed on the chair, and it was exactly like if a human being was drying their hands on the side that was hanging over, scrunched together like they were drying their hands, and then went back down again. And I was so speechless. I couldn't get out. I was just pointing, and I'm going, what, like that. And I'm looking around to see if there was any open windows that maybe it could be wind, but it was too much of a deliberate motion, the way it lifted up, crunched together, and lifted down. And so my friend jumped up because, I'm pointing, and he thought maybe somebody was coming through the back door. And he goes, what's wrong? And I mean, literally, I started to cry because then I knew that they could lift something up. And it was just so weird. And I told him, and he sits back down and he goes, oh, that's just my brother David. He died, 2 months ago, and I brought that from his apartment. Whenever he's around, and he points to this dream catcher that was hanging from his ceiling, he said, whenever he's around, that will turn in a circle. And the dream catcher, right when he said it, moved in a complete circle. And there was no windows open. There was no wind or anything. And I mean, it was just so weird. And when I was real little, no, not real little, but like I'd say about 9 or 10, we lived in this house where for some reason we always felt like it was the same house that the bat came down the chimney. And we always felt like it was maybe haunted because it had these glass doors that would, these two glass doors that would lead out into the hallway. And the curtains that we had on them were kind of sheer. And sometimes, like, we would keep that light out that was in the hallway, but the glass doors were in the living room. And every once in a while, it was like you could see the curtains would like seem to move, and you could see as if it was a woman, the form of a woman in a long dress go by, like an old fashioned dress. And then one morning, I used to, my mother would sleep upstairs. My bedroom was downstairs. Hers was upstairs, and it was like in this unfinished apartment, and it was all wood floors and these long halls. And her bedroom was the first room. So I would sneak up there and crawl into bed with her and hope she didn't notice so that I could stay home from school. Right. And so I had done that, and I would like try to stay as far away from her in the bed as possible, which is so crazy. Why would I try to like, if I wanted to stay home from school, why didn't I just stay in my bed, right? Instead, I sneak into her bed and act like she can't hear me or see me. So that's what I had done. And I'm like on one side of the bed, my mother's on the other. We both think each other's asleep or whatever. And we hear somebody coming up the stairs, and the stairs were carpeted. But when you got to the top of the stairs, it was hardwood floors. And they came up the stairs, walked up to the door of the bedroom, stood there for a second, and then you like clear as day, you could hear the heels clicking down the hall, like the old fashioned shoes with the hard heels. And my mother, my mother said, Tracy, and I said, Mom, because we both were like thinking that was the other, but we knew neither one had moved. And it was daylight too. It wasn't nighttime. It was broad daylight, and there was nobody there because my mother could see like the door. I was facing the other way, but my mother could see the door. That's scary. Last night I played this EVP for Catherine. It was one I had found on YouTube because when my sister passed away in 1984, we brought her ashes to England to this place called Hay Hall in Wigan. And because in the mid 70s, we had visited there when we were, in England visiting like family. And we went there for a day trip to Hay Hall. And so it was a good day. And she had my uncle's flat cap on, and she was like dancing down the stairs. It had these big double staircase going. And she was like dancing down it like it was Broadway or something. And well, when she passed away in 84, we put her ashes there. And so when I was coming back to America after, like we'd been there for like 6 months, the 2 nights before I was coming back, I felt like something was, felt like I had gone out. I was only 17, but in England, the drinking age was 16 then to get into pubs. And I had gone out and then come home. Not like it was like important, the drinking age, but at least to be in the pubs. And I don't know if it's like this in Finland, but in England, at least in 84, they still had cobblestone streets. Like in some of the villages, it was still cobblestone streets, and the fog was so thick there. And um, I mean, I could really see how Jack the Ripper could come up on, those people, his victims, because you couldn't see more than a foot in front of your face. And so I remember walking home and feeling like somebody was there. And then I got into, my Auntie Jean's house. Everybody was asleep. And there was like the little hall, and then it bells out into the kitchen. And I could hear breathing like that. And the night that my sister passed away, that's how she was breathing, like Darth Vader. She was like, and I could hear that. And when I looked down the hall, I could see it was like if somebody was around the corner of the wall, but their toes were still showing, but they were glowing, right? Like iridescent glowing. And so I quick got upstairs. And then the second night, the night right before I was going to be leaving in the morning, same thing. I come in and I could hear that breathing. And I looked and I saw, like, you know, there was something like glowing around the corner there. And so I booked it up the top of the stairs and then turned around and looked behind me. And at the bottom of the stairs, like completely glowing, was the shape of a woman. And I ran into the bathroom and I'm like leaning against the door. And then I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, even if it's a ghost, what's this going to do? I mean, a door, I got to keep them out. Not to mention I'm leaning against it. So I snuck out and went to my bedroom. But Sorry if I'm talking too much. But it'd be a boring live stream if I wasn't saying anything, right? I mean, it still might be boring even if I'm saying stuff, right? I'm not saying I'm exciting. Uh, I've seen people with live streams where they just kind of sit there and it's all dead air, you know? And I'm like, okay, say something, right? I don't know. My cat is driving me insane. I mean, really pissing me off. He does this every time I'm live or on the phone. But what I was saying, oh, thank you, Heli. Uh, we had put my sister's ashes at Heli Hall. And it was like, this uh, English estate, but it was at this time it was kept up, and people could tour it. But now it's really gone to ruin, from what I've heard, which bothers me because they've had concerts there and stuff since. 'Cause remember, we had put her ashes there in '84 when it was really beautiful, and the grounds were kept up. I guess it's coming back into shape, I think, but the fact that they had concerts there, it bothers me because it makes me think that people are trouncing all over her. And then a part of me also feels kind of guilty because when I was looking through, when the internet came around, I thought, oh, I'm gonna check out and see if there's any ghost sightings at Hague Hall in Wigan. So I looked it up and I found this paranormal group, and they had done some EVPs at Hague Hall, and they said that they had done a few, ghost things, paranormal investigations in the town of Wigan, including Hague Hall, and that this woman's voice keeps coming through in our session. And she was saying my name over and over. And when they described, and they said, she doesn't sound like she's from England, which my sister wasn't. She's from America. And they said, and she doesn't sound old. She sounds young and sweet. And I'm telling you that I know my sister's voice. And seriously, it's not, and she is saying Tracy repeatedly. And then at the end of it, it says, there's a woman with an English accent, but not a deep English accent, like not a heavy English accent, going, who are you looking for? And that sounds like my mother. And my two sisters who are, skeptics, they listen to it. And normally they would say something like, be skeptical about it. But they both said, yeah, that's weird. That's weird. Because it was like she kept saying Tracy. Oh my God, it was so weird. And then there was one, it sounds to me, see, they say what they think that she's saying, but for me, I think what she's saying is, oh, ow, is that what my cat just said? Well, that's what you get. Probably was meow, not ow, but, like maybe one of us sounds like, are you Rachel? Which that's, my daughter's name. It's just so weird. Made me feel kind of bad. Like maybe she was like looking for us all the time because she's there. That would suck, you know? That would suck. I don't know what I think about all that stuff. I think if I saw somebody that I loved, loved, loved that passed away and then they were there, it would almost be like losing them all over again when they went. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I always thought that movie, The Sixth Sense, was pretty weird. Did you see that? The Sixth Sense? I liked it at the end when you know, he finally tells his mother about how he can, see things, but she still kind of doesn't believe him. And she says she doesn't believe him, and they're sitting in the car, and it was when that lady had gotten hit by a. She was on a bicycle, and remember she was at the window, and he said, she goes, "Oh my God, I wonder what happened up there." They're sitting in like the traffic jam, and he said, um, somebody, there was an accident and somebody died. And she said, "How do you know that?" And he said, "Because she's at the window." Remember, she was standing at the window in that bike helmet, and she was saying something about, she was like getting mad at him and said something about the bumblebee pin, and he was trying to say he didn't do that. It was, the grandmother, her mother, and she said that um, she started crying, and she was talking something about the recital or something that her mother didn't make it, but she said she was there in the back, and she said, and to prove it to her, he goes, "Do you know how you go to when you go to visit her grave, and you know what you ask her every day? She wants me to tell you that the answer to that is not every day, every time that you ask her this, she wants me to tell you the answer to your question is every day, every day." And she starts crying. And he said, what do you ask her, Mom? What's the question you ask her? And she said, "If I ever make her proud." I thought that was so sad. That's how she finally like believed him. It's so sad. Definitely one like to watch a couple of times. Feel so bad for that little kid. I could understand how, when you watch it, when you understand that the guy's dead, and it's like that would be really scary to see dead people all the time. And I believe that they would do that. Like if there was one person that could see them when they're going around and nobody can see them, nobody can see them. And then there's one person who looks at them and says something. They must be like, you know, I'm staying with you. That would make sense. Of course, they're going to stick around the person that can, the only person that can see them, right? Just like, remember in that movie Ghost when Whoopi Goldberg was playing the psychic lady, and fucking all those ghosts end up start appearing to her. You know through the veil paranormal, right? Veil, Nicole, that thing, right? Nicole, you know her, right? Yeah, like Veil. She says, like, remember her other house that she used to live in? I mean, that place looked like it was haunted. That basement. She did that freaking all nighter in the basement with by herself with the lights out. And there were spiders down there and that humongous cricket. Oh my God. Yes, she's very nice. That humongous cricket. I know she does because you can always see there's a lot of, especially in that basement though of hers. I mean, that was a creepy basement. And she lived near a cemetery too. And it didn't even occur to me when I said to her about, I go, well, I would be really scared to live next door to a cemetery. You know, I go, you know, ghosts and stuff, right? And she goes, well, they don't really do much. They just sometimes they even come and visit their loved ones. Like, and it didn't even occur to me that she was talking about what it did, you know, when she said it, but she was talking about the actual people in the cemetery. She could see them. I mean, that would freak me out. No way. I would not like that. Ugh. Could you imagine walking down the street and somebody's like walking towards you, right? And you think they're just like a regular person walking towards you and they walk right through you? Yeah, like it's so normal to her. Exactly. It is. It's like it's so normal to her. I remember telling her about I got to see a psychic medium and you know, it was an audience of 50 and how, you know, we were talking about how some mediums will go, has anybody here lost somebody, you know, by the name of, let's just say, Lori, right? She said she thinks that, and that made sense because I never thought about that before. She said that she feels like that kind of like, I don't know if it, maybe they do have some kind of a talent, but like for her, like somebody who can see the spirits, she would know who the message was for because they'd be standing right next to that person. So she'd already have, you know, like somebody who can see the spirits, they're right there near the person they want to talk to. So the medium shouldn't have to be saying, is anybody, you know, like that kind of thing, which that made sense. Then it made me wonder about the guy that I paid $60 a ticket for. Damn guy. Fucking, I swear to God, I think he was trying to like put square pegs in round holes. I don't even think he wanted to be right because every question that he asked, he's like, has anybody here lost a brother named William? I'm the only one. Yes, I lost a brother named William. Oh, not you. Not you, honey. Has anybody here didn't make it to the hospital right before their mother died? And I'm like, yes, that I didn't make it to the hospital before my mother died. Oh, sorry, not you. It's like, okay, then why ask the fucking question, buddy? If it's not going to be the person who says yes, what am I not the right person to say yes? Like that makes you think that there's plants in the audience and, you know, I'm not the right person to say yes because I'm not the person who knows the scripted answers, you know? Because if nobody else lost a brother named William, but there's somebody there that's saying, hey, I'm somebody's brother here named William, why wouldn't it have been me? Like, that's weird. Yeah, I was really, I mean, the guy, it was like he was saying things that were like he was spot on with me. And he even turned to me and goes, honey, I wish I could say those messages were for you. like he stopped in the middle of the aisle. Remember, it's 50, audience of 50, so there's 25 on one side, 25 on the other, and he's walking down the middle of the aisle, and he said something else, and I said, uh, I did, or whatever I do once again, and he goes, honey, I wish I could say these messages were for you. And then he stops talking to me, but he's like, because he would always, like the way he would describe it is that he could hear them talking to him. And so if he's talking, he's not always talking to the audience. Sometimes he's talking to them. So he stops and he's like, yeah, okay, I understand. He goes, oh, this message is for me, like himself. And he says to me, but you know what you should do is you should make a list of, you should write all the people that you want to contact and their nicknames or whatever on a piece of paper. And before I could even say it, like he goes on and, he's a fast talker. And so he goes on to something else and starts walking away. I had the piece of paper in my pocket. I had been doing that even up to the point right before we went in. I added two more names to it and their nicknames that had passed away. And every single person really on that list, if I think about it, kind of, because he kept saying, I see this big burly guy in, like, the lumberjack shirt, like flannel, and he's like a mountain. He's like a mountain. And that was my friend Tom Pemberton, and his nickname was Mountain. And that's what I had written. But by that point, I was sick and tired of saying me, 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 me. And what kills me though is he says, who here has breast cancer? And I knew that I had, like, had a lump removed at one time, but as it turns out, I did have breast cancer, but I didn't know. So that's, like when I was going to radiation now. Thank you so much for coming in and talking to me, because otherwise I'd be. But I really appreciate it, because it's nice to finally get to talk to you and learning about Finland and everything like that. So definitely. Do you do live streams? Because if you do, I can sometimes check out your lives as well. But thanks for coming in here. I appreciate it. I really do. I know I'm just a rambler. Yeah, so I thought I'd just come on live, and that way, if anybody ever like listens to the replays, they can. Thank you, Heli. It was my pleasure too. I'll probably get off too, in a minute or whatever. I was just, I'm a night owl. Much love to you as well. Have a wonderful day. Have fun at work. Next time you're modding over at like that CJ Fasan when he's doing a live stream, let me know, because I've never seen him do a live stream, and I wouldn't mind. I really like his episodes that he has done. So I actually had forgotten about him until you just said that. So I'll have to go subscribe and put his notification bell on. Definitely. I really appreciate you stopping in. Nice of you. I don't even know what the weather is supposed to be like today, but so I don't know. I think, you know what? I think I'm gonna end the live stream too, because I wanna get some sleep myself. So peace, love, and tacos. Love you guys.